Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Mary Kate Beck here. We are back with episode 21. My podcast can drink, y'all. I'm so proud. I'm going to take it out back to shotgun some beers and get it arrested because that's what I did on my 21st birthday. Just a quick MKB update. I will be performing on Shady Babies tomorrow night, October 29th at 8:30 p.m. at North Bar. It's a really fun show, and they post baby pictures of all the comics, so make sure to come through. It's a really good time. Hey, while you have your phone in your hand, make sure to follow us on social media. It's such a fun way to see pictures from our guests, their trips, and really put faces to the names. And if you have a travel disaster of your own, send it to me. I want to know about the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the laughter, the tears of your best, worst vacation. So send them to traveldisasterspodcast@gmail.com. I can't wait to read it on the air. And if you like what you hear and you are addicted to this podcast, hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, throw me 5 ninja stars, and leave a written review because I love reading them on the air and they mean so much to me. And please, please, please tell everyone about this podcast. Tell that sexy barista, the sexy trainer at the gym. Tell the flight attendants on your flight right now. I'm sure they have epic travel disasters, and word of mouth is how these episodes will grow. So I need your help to spread the word. And if you even remotely like this podcast, you are going to love all the other podcasts in the Jazz Fuzz network. We have Buddy of the Groom with one of my best friends. Mike O'Keefe is trying to pick a groomsman for his upcoming nuptials. We also have Crushes with Deanna Ortiz, which is like my guilty pleasure every week. They just dive real deep into like guilty pleasure celebrity crushes, and it's absolutely hilarious, but also like really enlightening. I'm like, I didn't know that person could be hot. And she also does a really interactive game on Instagram called Hot or Tall, and I live for it. I'm here for it. I love it. Now, today's guest is one of my favorite humans on this planet. He's a hilarious comedian, a wonderful host at Zanie's Comedy Club, and just an all-around great guy. Plus, he's single, ladies! Derek Graff is in the passenger seat today. Derek takes us back to his glory days in college, where he takes a road trip to see his beloved Fighting Illini basketball team to play Michigan State with one of his best friends. There's beers, there's basketballs, there's broken bones, and see how this basketball tradition goes terribly wrong and how Derek almost dies. So, here we go. It's you and me, baby. We're going on the trip from hell, where every flight is missed. They lose your luggage, and you're in the middle seat between a sumo wrestler and a screaming baby. Don't worry, I'm coming along for the ride. I'm Mary Kate Beck, and this is Travel Disasters. We're in the house with country strong Derek Graff.
Oh, no. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that.
You can't tell me the nickname that you hate right before I'm about to introduce you.
I agree. That's on me. Yep, that's on me. Okay.
You're like, you know what I hate people introducing me as?
Fair.
I'm like, perfect. I'm going to use it in about 30 seconds.
Yep. Shout out to Mike O'Keefe. Yep.
Love him. Fellow podcaster. Don't listen to his. Listen to mine.
All right. I will.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
It's a scorcher out there.
It's hot. I walked most of the way here and barely survived. So yeah,
I know.
Doing okay.
I drove here exclusively so that I would have air conditioning in my car for 10 minutes because I don't have any in my apartment.
That is nuts. That's a thing that I could not do. That's, as I get older, I'm like, that's a deal breaker for an apartment for me.
I know. I'm just being cheap. I'm just going to wait till next spring to get the
I can
little
admire
window
that,
unit.
but
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
I just moved in. It's September. I'm like, I can stick it out for 15 more days. It'll be cold and hopefully, who knows?
Yeah, hopefully soon. I'm one. I never complain about the winter. I make sure of it so that I have the right to complain about the summer.
Yeah.
I do nothing but complain about the heat because I sweat so much. So yeah, I'm very
you're
conscious.
like, winter is my time.
Absolutely.
That's my
it's my time to
season.
shine.
Yes.
You can't see my body under a hoodie. So, I do well. It's fun.
And you can just like be hot, but like it's cold outside and nobody can say anything. But when your body runs hot and then you're hot outside, it's a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm. There's no hiding it.
So I remember the first time that we met was at Zanie's in Chicago. and I had no right to be there, but you got to like earn Zanie's. And I was there doing a 5-minute. Was it even 5? I think it was 4 minutes or something.
Like
it was
that,
something just like not memorable at all. But I had 5 minutes at Zanie's in Old Town, opening for Pat McGann, my fellow Southsider, Dayton Flyer, fellow comedian. And he like
the best,
the nicest person ever.
Absolutely, the greatest. I remember being very nervous that week hosting in front of him because he used to be the house MC there for years, and so I was doing something I wasn't yet super comfortable with in front of the person who was the best at it.
The king of Zanie's Old Town.
That was nerve-wracking for me.
Oh my God, 100%. So he threw me a bone and was like, "Hey, MK, do you want to do 5 minutes for like when I'm at Zanie's Old Town this June?" And I was like, yes. I wasn't ready at all. I'd probably been doing comedy for 10 minutes. And he was just so nice. So I did it. And I told my parents, which also like snowballed into the entire Beverly neighborhood coming to Zanie's Old Town. And like packing the house. I like sold out the show like for Pat McGann, but like only because it was the biggest. That's probably still the biggest moment in my comedy career. Yeah. You brought a lot of people, which is like an embarrassing amount. Like it was.
It helps the show. It's not a bad thing. I remember being told by the box office that because they don't have information on who's coming in to do guest sets. Yeah, and people would call the box office being like, "Is this the one Mary Kate's on?" And they just had no idea. They're like, "Who is that?" But yeah, no, it was, I don't know, it was a great show. And
oh my God,
the more people helped. So
oh my God, it was just like it was one of those moments where it was like I was so excited, but also it was like equally embarrassing because it's like. I don't even know what to compare it to. It's like having people cheer you on at like your driver's test. Like it was like it's not a big deal.
That's a solid comparison.
But it was like a big deal for me at the point in comedy where I was. But haven't been back to Zany Chicago since. So still fighting there or chasing that dragon. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, being on that stage for the first time is it's a big deal. I remember my first time. It was just very nervous, and it's a big deal.
But the best. It's such a rush.
It's such a rush, and that's such a great room. Yeah, I love it there.
And to look around and see all the people on the walls with like their headshots and their signatures or autographs or whatever. It's so fun. Yeah,
it's the greatest. Yeah, I was lucky enough to get my headshot up there, and it was cool. I got to feature for the comedian who my headshot was next to on the wall.
What?
Mark Normand, which was great. And we took pictures with it. Oh, he's the best. The nicest and just the best joke writer. Yeah. That was my favorite. Probably my favorite moment in comedy is getting to work with him. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so fun. So I always like to ask people before we get started, kind of the travel scale. Mm-hmm. So on a scale from straitjacket, being like you can't even escape the confines of your own body and mind, never leaving ever, to like being one of those women that like sells jewelry at music festivals who just like lives out of her van and travels the entire world. Where do you kind of fall? How much do you travel? What's your area of expertise?
I'm closer to the van lady than I am the agoraphobe. I'm closer to that. I travel quite a bit because my day job, I travel for that.
What's your day job, you little smarty pants?
I work for an engineering firm, so we do like industrial automation stuff. So I got to travel to client sites and
is it just
do projects
national?
There.
Is it international?
International technically because I go to Canada sometimes.
Oh,
but if you count Canada as a foreign country, then yeah, international. But for the most part, domestic.
Canada's like USA squared. It's
exactly. It's fine. It's just an annoying border you have to cross. It's nothing. Yeah. Like I lived in Montreal going back and forth for about 8 months.
They're separatist bastards. That's not even Canada. That doesn't count.
Sure.
It's its own Provence.
Yeah, and you gotta you pick up some French. That was my best bit in the Montreal office was just mispronouncing French words on purpose.
Oh,
and
nice.
Just getting a big laugh out of that is the easiest bit I've ever had to do. But yeah, so I travel quite a bit. Yeah, and then for comedy, I'm on the road. Sometimes I do a bunch of little one-nighters in Michigan and stuff like that.
Yeah, the old Midwest tour.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, which is fun.
I love that. So you told me before we hopped on that you have one kind of major story.
Yeah, I consider it a major story. Yeah, this is in Michigan, not for comedy.
What year is it? How old is Derek Graff?
2015.
Okay, fairly recent.
Yeah, which means I was 25. That's why I love my birth year. It's easy to do the math. Yeah. So I was visiting my friend Steve.
Great name. Good old Steve.
Yep. We went to college together. We're longtime drinking buddies, big college sports fans.
Perfect.
So I was visiting him, and we were going to go. He lives in the Detroit area. We were going to go to the Michigan State-Illinois game at Michigan State. That was the purpose of the trip. So on the way there, it's fine. Nothing crazy happens.
You're like the most tame person. You're like, it's fine. We drove. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's a 5-hour drive, and the way there I don't remember, mostly because of the rest of the trip.
Who drove? You or Steve?
Oh, just me. He lived there, so I was driving to him. So I was driving from Chicago to him, and then when I get there on Friday, it's just a normal night of drinking. I think I blacked out because.
Just a normal night. I had 25 beers. I know, college,
actually,
it's all
I will,
a blur.
Not to throw my friend Steve under the bus, who I was recently best man for, but the reason I blacked out that first night is because he had us do tequila shots out of these new shot glasses he got. He was like, oh, they're skull shaped and they're one shot, and we did 2 shots, and they were like, that seemed like a lot. Yeah. Then we measured them. We're like, oh no, those fit 3 shots in them. So we did 6 shots of tequila within like 3 minutes.
To me. My goodness.
And I act weird, not crazy. I act weird when I black out. Like I just try to find home. And like most blackout stories were like, you just got up and left and didn't say goodbye.
Well, you are Irish, no?
1/16, so not really.
Get the what did you swipe your cheek and now you have a percentage?
No. Actually, for the longest time, I didn't think I was any, and then my dad told me we were 1/16. I was like, I believe you. That's fine. But yeah, so at the bar, I was told that I just kept like walking around. I think looking for a way home.
You're probably like running into walls looking for a door.
I probably.
That's amazing.
So that was fine. And then the next day we're going to the game. So we go to the game.
What time do you wake up?
I think we slept in. It was like a evening, late afternoon game.
Day games, you get up at fucking 7 a.m.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. And it was basketball. So basketball tends to not start as early as football. So we slept in. Got breakfast at a nice place. And then went to the game, and at the game, Illinois wasn't that good. Michigan State is Michigan State.
Yeah.
But Illinois plays really well.
Damn. Surprisingly.
They were doing real well, and a big moment happened. Illinois, I think, was like a big 3, and my friend gets very excited. There are some fellow Illinois fans 4 or 5 rows above us across the aisle, so he runs up to go high five them and just trucking it. Misses a step and just busts his ankle.
No.
Real bad.
No.
Real bad.
Don't say the word bone sticking out of skin. I will throw up.
No.
That's the worst when people are like, yeah, it was crazy. My friend broke his wrist tubing and his bone just flew out of his flesh. I'm like, you can't tell people that.
No, he no bones, nothing like that. He could still walk on it, but it was very painful.
Oh fuck.
So
did he power through the game? Was he like,
we weren't leaving the game.
Yeah.
And if you know him, you already knew the answer to that question.
I'm gonna bite on it.
Yeah, I've never left a game early, no matter how bad Illinois is getting blown out. If I'm with him, he doesn't leave early. I've left early, but just not with him.
You're wearing Illinois colors, right? Like you're wearing a plaid shirt that is orange and blue. Like you're like, even when I'm not supporting Illinois, I'm just supporting Illinois.
Yeah, I am. I'm. That's fair.
I'm bleed orange and blue.
I can't let go of the past.
Oh my
that's
God.
more of it. But yeah, my friend hurts himself, but Illinois ends up winning the game, and it's amazing. It's so cool. We get to see the win at Michigan State. It's awesome. He's like limping to the car. He's in a lot of pain, and the worst part is I can't drive him back because his car is stick shift, and I can't drive a stick shift.
Shut the fuck up.
So he has.
And this is 2015. Mm-hmm. Is it like kind of early Uber or like?
Well, he lives like an hour and a half away.
Oh yeah, we're not going to do that.
It's too long. It's too much. Yeah, too much.
No.
So we go back to his place,
and it's his right ankle.
I think it's his right.
Yeah, because that's what you have to drive with.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Well, with a stick shift.
Oh,
my God.
I didn't even. Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's screwed either way. But he's in a lot of pain, but we make it back to his place. I like have to help him back into his apartment.
Wow.
We sit him down on the couch and we're just hanging out. We play some NCAA football on the PS2.
Go to the doctor. What are you doing?
Yeah, we're like, he's like, I think I'll be fine. We play NCAA football. At one point, he throws a pass into triple coverage, and he's like, yeah, I think I need to go to the doctor. That's how he figured out. He was just like, all right, I'm out of it. I need to.
I can barely press buttons.
Yeah. He's like, I'm clearly woozy. My head's not in the right place.
Oh no!
So we took him to the emergency room. It wasn't broken. It was just a really bad sprain.
Shit.
But yeah, so he got hurt for that. So we go back to his place. Obviously, we take it easy that night because he's on medication.
Like, we'll bring the beers to you. Let's put some ice and some gauze on your
exactly.
ankle.
We still drank, but just not as heavy. Yeah,
totally.
For sure. Yeah. So that okay. So we got hurt. Not great, but we can power through it. So the next morning, it'll be Sunday morning. I drive home, and I'm weekend of drinking and hanging out and the stress. I'm kind of tired.
The Sunday scaries, driving behind the wheel, just white knuckling.
Yeah,
I flinch at like if there's like a light that shines too bright, I'm like and like slam on the brakes. If I'm anxiously driving when I'm hungover, like no, thank you.
Well, don't get ahead of me. So,
sorry.
No, it's all good.
I'm speaking for myself.
I agree. I'm the same way, and so not only hungover, but just tired.
Yes.
And I can feel myself kind of in and out as I'm going down the road, and it's winter, so like there are some slick spots.
It's dark.
Yeah. It's rough. So I'm nearing, I'm not far out from Jackson, Michigan, and I start.
Aaron's nodding. This is his home turf. He's like, I know exactly what highway you're on.
Okay, so you'll recognize this picture I have coming up here.
No.
So I think I must have actually dozed off for a little bit, and then I wake up, and I'm coming up behind the back of this guy quickly because apparently when I my foot stayed on the gas, so I hit the brakes and I hit some ice and I go off the side of the interstate.
No,
my car flips upside down.
Derek!
And slides. I'm sitting in front of you. You know I'm okay. But I did bring pictures.
Oh my God, we're going to post these on social media. Holy shit!
Yeah. So that's my car underneath the Grass Lake exit.
It is flipped over.
It is flipped over.
It looks like a T-Rex took it and just mauled it. Oh my God. You know the Jeeps and Jurassic
I've seen the movies. I've seen the...
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's a closer look. Yeah, I just brought...
Derek. Oh my God.
That was crazy. So it's upside down, and I remember sitting there for a second, just being out of it, like, oh wow. So I took a second, I got my seatbelt off, I get right side up, and
holy shit, you climbed out of the car while it was upside down.
Oh yeah.
How was that?
One of my it was interesting. So I knew I had to call the police, so I'm still in the car, but I'm right side up now.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm right side up. I've taken off my seatbelt. I've gotten right side up.
Little?
Yeah. And I freaked out because I called and the noise started coming out of my speakers because the car was still on and my phone was still connected to Bluetooth.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I was like, where's that coming from? Yeah. Oh, okay, right.
Technology.
I still have the Bluetooth. Right. So I do that. I call the police and then I hear a knock on the side of my thing and the guy was like, you should get out of the car. I was
my God.
And then he was like, yeah, and turn it off so the airbags don't deploy because if the car's on, the airbags can still deploy. So I was like, oh yeah. So I turned it on and luckily, those nice people stopped by and helped me. And then we got a tow truck, towed it to their place. And then one of the guys from the towing company gave me a ride over to downtown Jackson, where very luckily for me, there is an Amtrak station.
Oh, wow. Very convenient.
Yeah. So I was
what are the odds?
Right. So I sat in a diner for a while until the train came. With just a bunch of stuff from the back of my car because it wasn't.
How are you feeling? Are you calm? Are you fucking
Oh no, I'm
rattled?
not calm.
Yeah,
I am very rattled.
You're so calm telling the story, and I'm like, I would be fucking weeping.
It's been a few years. It's
I'm over it.
It's still it's a little unsettling, but I remember being very rattled at the time. I remember calling my mom and just being like, okay, before I say anything, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay. I'm physically fine.
Your Midwestern mother's like, what is it? What?
Absolutely, yeah. When I sent her the pictures, she freaked out.
Yeah, don't ever do that. She will not be able to unsee those.
No, I know.
She's like,
I explained what happened. I mean, but we're friends on Facebook, so she was gonna see them. I needed to get the likes out of this.
Yes.
So yeah, so I call my mom. I sit at the diner, and because it's not just the stuff I took for the trip, it's everything that was in my car. Because I'm not gonna see that car again. I'm 100% sure it's totaled at that point. So it's like stuff I have in there for work. It's stuff I brought for my training. And I'm just sitting in a diner with all of this. So all my stuff's in like one booth, and I'm in the opposite booth.
Oh no!
And people are just looking at me weird.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not a homeless hoarder. Sorry, right. I'm just I've been through a lot today.
Yeah, I'm not hoarding work boots and hard hats. And
papers and
it was rough. So then the train comes and thank God I was near a train station. I took the Amtrak home. Car was obviously totaled.
Oh my God.
So
what kind of a car was it? I can't even tell.
It was a Toyota RAV4.
What's a decent car?
It was nice. Yeah, it was a good one. I had just gotten it. It was only a couple years old.
Yeah, those are sturdy, like.
Thank God. That's why
I know. That's why you're here.
Yeah, I had a scratch on my hand from the broken glass,
wow.
And that was it. That was the extent of my injuries. I wasn't sore the next day or nothing.
What?
And the craziest thing,
you even get whiplash?
Yeah, nothing. And the craziest thing is, look how close I was to that sign.
Yeah.
Look how close.
Oh my God.
I almost hit that exit sign. That would have been
6 inches away from like nailing a fucking sign.
That would have been
oh my God.
Real bad. Yeah, I got very lucky. So me and my friend like to say that we earned that win. We did everything we had to get Illinois that win.
Oh my God!
Michigan
you
State.
Both
we both
barely scathed.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
So that was one of my more memorable road trips.
Oh my God!
Because I go up to Michigan all the time for little one-nighters and
do you get like nervous on that highway anymore or at all? My sister got into a car crash and could barely get into a car again because it was on her way home from college. So every time she would come home from Purdue, they got T-boned. Same.
Oh,
yeah. Crazy. But it was in the winter, black ice. Nobody saw it coming. And she would get on that highway and start hyperventilating. But did that ever happen to you? Or
it didn't get worse. See, I've always been nervous around like ice and like slippery roads. So that's always been bad. So it didn't get worse. But no, I wouldn't say I have. I'm more conscious, I guess, about making sure that I'm awake or I have caffeine so that I know I'm good to go if I have these kind of long trips.
Or just stay and
or
rest.
Just absolutely. I did recently. I did
invest in like a $50 Motel 6 room and just wake up early and tackle it the next day.
Absolutely. I did that recently. I had a gig in one of those Michigan cities on the lake, and it was one. It didn't come with a hotel, but I was like, no, it's too long. I ended up just buying. I was like, if I can find one for less money than I'm getting paid for the gig, I'll take it. And I did, and so it's
worth more than your life. A, B, getting the car totaled, and C, like that's so traumatizing. And they say that isn't being tired driving worse than drunk driving? I mean, they might just say that. They say
that now, and I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, my gosh. Because you're like, I'm fully capable.
I've only been in a crash doing the one. So
right. And you drink and drive all the time.
Every day. But
that's what Derek Graff is known for, just the drunk driver.
I have an image to keep up. And
I love it. Well, I'm glad that you lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, my God. Well, do you have any trips coming up? What's next for Derek Graff?
Sure. I'm still traveling back and forth all the time to Canada. Like I said, it's fine. Now it's more Toronto, which is nice because that's where
the thriving city.
It is. It's nice.
Yeah,
I like Toronto. I do shows when I'm up there. I have some friends that I made from when I was in Montreal that are now in Toronto.
Wow. Oh, so Mr. Popular.
They hooked me up with well, that's one thing I loved about traveling to Montreal is their scene is a lot smaller comedy-wise than you would expect because everyone knows JFL. But the actual local scene there is tiny, mostly because it's split English-French.
Oh,
and those scenes are separate.
Interesting.
So it's a very small scene because I remember the first.
So you're in the French scene?
I wish I was that cool.
Bonjour.
I wish I was that cool. No, but the first week I was there, I thought the project I was on was only going to be like a few weeks and then maybe come back a little later. But then I ended up being there 8 months. So my first week I got hooked up with a bunch of shows from a friend I had done a festival with or whatever. And then I came back again a couple weeks later and I was like, cool, what are the other shows I should do? And they were like, no, you did all the shows.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, oh no.
I swept the city.
Now I have to do that awkward dance of like, when is okay to like ask
resubmit
again.
And yeah. Oh my God.
But I made good friends there, people I keep in contact with. So I enjoy traveling. It's nice to travel for my day job because I can use it as an excuse to set up shows in different cities. And
that is
get
fun.
The travel paid for.
I love that. So do you have any like shows coming up? Where can people find you?
Sure. Yeah. I've got right now every first Tuesday of the month at Gallery Cabaret. There's Derek and Derek. It's a show I produce with fellow funny comedian Derek Molds.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh my God, I love him.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And your names are spelled the same way, aren't they?
They are.
Which rarely happens. There's so many.
There are multiple spellings of Derek. I feel like ours is the most common. But it's...
my least favorite is Derrick. If you're out there, I hate you.
It's too many letters. I agree. It's too complicated.
It's 2 syllables. Why are there 8 letters in it?
Yeah, I used to like think that there was a shorthand or someone when they asked how I'd spell it. I used to say like Derek Jeter, and they'd just be like, I don't know how he spells his name.
Stop being an asshole.
So I was like, all right, just ERE.
So every Tuesday of the month.
Every first Tuesday of the month at Gallery Cabaret, Derek and Derek, and then. I'm at Zanie's all the time. Next time, this will probably not
Weird
be
flex, but okay.
I'm featuring for Pete Lee in a week.
Hell yeah!
It won't be relevant when this comes out, but I needed to say it out loud.
Say it. Social media.
Doing some road gigs in November in Princeton, Illinois.
This will apply.
At Festival 56. In January, which is too long out, but that's fine.
How are you booked that far in advance? You're in such high demand.
The people that book those Michigan gigs,
I know.
They're like, hey, are you willing to do winter time? And I'm like, I don't say no to people. So I'm nice. Minneapolis, St. Paul, at a comedy club up there a couple nights actually. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Hell yeah. Do you have a website? You need to be posting all these things.
Yeah, I am. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Oh, there you go.
DerekGraff.com, and then all my social media is at Derek W. Graff. It includes my middle initial.
William?
Yes.
Oh,
William.
there you go.
Yeah, I share it with my dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sweetie pie.
It's very sweet. Yeah, I love my dad. Social media, Derek W. Graff, Derek. Yeah, I think that's everything I have that's important. If you want a mug, I sell mugs as merch.
I love it. Well, we don't have merch yet, but
you should.
you're way ahead of us. We will. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This was so much fun.
This was great. Yeah.
We'd love to have you back.
All right. I'll get in another disaster then.